Turn the mic on. All right. Hey, listen, we've got some new things coming down the pipeline very soon, and I'll be briefing everybody in the chat room on that here live in about less than 2 minutes away, and hope you'll stay with us for that. We got some exciting news for you. Okay, here we are again on Tuesday night. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad to be here because, you know, so often the news is bad. Tonight we have good news. Pardon my dust behind me. The man cave is coming along, and part of that is the leftovers from some good news that I'm about to bring you. One of the problems we've had, I've had in moving and getting this studio set up, which is very much a work in progress, as you can tell, but we're getting closer, is you lose things because you have to keep moving things over and over and over to get the ceiling, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I've been wanting to make an improvement that would require me to go back to the original code of the PJNet utility that actually sends out the tweets. And to do that, I have to crank up that old machine. Well, golly, you know, I had to get all the stuff, and I finally found it, and I've got it, and in fact, it is on right now, and below me, right down here, you can't see it, but I very much can, is the monitor to that old XP machine that has the original source code of the PJNet program that runs on our servers. Why do I want to crank that up? Well, I may have shared with you before that one of the things that we're doing to ensure the highest standards of compliance with the Twitter rules is first trying to understand them, but and weave through the minefield that seems to be laid in front of us. But one of the things we've done is kind of gone overboard and said once you schedule a tweet, you cannot schedule that tweet again because clearly that would be a duplicate tweet, and clearly that is against the Twitter rules. And as a result, of course, we've got a lot less tweets because you can only basically dispatch the new tweets that have been added since the last time. So that has drastically reduced the overall count of tweets out there. But I had an idea, and what we're going to do is we're going to allow you to reschedule those tweets again. They will be colored yellow in the tweet scheduler, and the yellow will indicate you have tweeted this before, and if you elect to tweet it again, what will happen is before it tweets again, the original tweet that was scheduled and sent will be deleted from Twitter, and thus any retweets would be lost, any comments would be lost, and so forth. But on the plus side, you can keep that message fresh out there over and over and over again. So to do that, so I've actually begun untangling this web of technology that I added to prevent you from from doing it. Now I have to unprevent you from doing it, but warn you in the meantime. So I'm excited about that. In fact, if Barbara can carry the water tonight, I can actually work on that tonight. There's a chance I can pull that off. Yes, there's a chance that I can pull that off tonight. No promises. But the other reason I wanted to talk with you, we were a little bit late getting started tonight. Now, some people won't know that because they were a little late getting here, but for very good reason. Maxwell House sounds good enough to me. In fact, I may take a break after this to go get my Keurig machine fired up because it's going to take some caffeine to get where we're going. I was on a conference call earlier this evening, thus we started a little bit late, and basically many of you know City on a Hill TV, Diana Cruz, and the Common Core War, the anti-Common Core war that was waged here by many of us, and we put up a good fight, but at the end of the day, our valiant efforts went down to defeat once it got through the Senate, and it cemented it in for 6 years. So how do you rally people against Common Core when there's really no hope until it comes back before the Senate at the end of that? It was 6 years. I guess it's down to 5 or maybe 4, but anyway, a group of pastors and leaders, Joan Landis, Barbara Moore, Diana Cruz, myself, and Pastor Troy Towns. Now, he is, in my mind, the centerpiece of this movement that we're going to start. And my vision is to let people tell their stories and get them on video and produce very good, very compelling I don't use the propaganda word, but you know what I'm saying. Because look, there's probably parents who have objected to something. In fact, if you're a parent, you may have gone through something like this. Something's going on at school that you object to, so you go to the teacher and you get nowhere with that. Then you go to the principal and you get nowhere with that. Most people would stop there, but not everybody. Some people would then go to the school board, and you go there and nothing happens there either. And most people would stop there, but maybe the next step would be go to your state representative, and they find that they get nowhere there. And then if you're really, really persistent, you would go to your United States Congress representative, and guess what? Get nowhere there. What we would like to do is appeal to these people if you have a story to tell about school, because the Common Core, really, I don't really oppose Common Core per se. I oppose two things. One, the federalization of education. The Constitution and the 10th Amendment doesn't use the word education, so constitutionally I oppose it, even if it were a great idea. Absent an amendment to the Constitution enabling the federal government to engage in that enterprise. But the biggest problem I have with Common Core is not curriculum, standards, and all that. It's just a manifestation of the indoctrination of our children, and I think that the Bible used the family unit as the basic socialization unit to indoctrinate our children. Now, after the family would be the church, would be the next place, and the two kind of go hand in hand. The educational system has become a major machine. They have the attention of these children for long hours. So what I'm trying to do is basically treat this as a spiritual problem and look at individual cases. And we start putting all this together. We're going to put together some really good videos. Now, leading this, in my mind, if I get my way, which I usually do, will be Troy Towns. Now, who's that? Well, Troy's a pretty colorful individual. Now, coming up after this live segment is a video that I produced for the Roy Moore election, and it features many pastors, but I want you to focus. He's probably about the 4th or 5th. He's in a light blue jacket, and he will talk about there's a giant in our land. And Troy Towns and I spoke quite a bit tonight, and we will be getting together later on, and I think that he will become the front, and he will become the centerpiece of a lot of video assets that we're going to be producing once we get this studio behind me looking a little better. But isn't it great? I think it's an idea worth pursuing, and I'm just very much in prayer about it. I hope you'll join me in that, because that, together with our tweet engine, if we can retweet, or not retweet, that's a poor choice of words, if we can resend tweets we've already sent, reschedule them again, and do it fairly and by the rules, and I think we have a way to do that, I think that will increase our presence on Twitter, because quite frankly, given the new landscape out there, it's going to take, I won't say more effort, because we've always made it, the technology has always made it very easy to just schedule your tweets. But it's certainly going to take a lot more people, because a lot of the technological leverage that we've had in the past has been effectively neutralized. So we're going to need some good old-fashioned, ground game tactics here. That means head count, that means people. And I'm excited, when I look in the chat room, I see the roster and I see it, there's that remnant, that is spoken about in the scriptures, that God will always preserve the remnant. And I think what we're looking at here is a remnant, and a darn good one. I think we've got some powerful people here, but I think if we can, get more people involved in something that makes sense to them. We're not trying to defeat Common Core. We're trying to bring a message saying there are horror stories happening across the land in our schools that nobody hears about. And when they hear about it, it's one person. They say, well, that's a wacko, that's a nut job, that's an exception. But when you start putting all these together, you begin to believe, well, maybe that's not the exception. Maybe that's the way it is. And I think we can get some horrifying testimonial from people who are not crazy, who are concerned parents. And when you put them all together, I think that perhaps with the Lord's blessings, that it will gain the attention of social media. It will gain the attention of the news media. It will gain the attention of those powers that be, that influence the culture. So we want to move the needle, folks, and this is not trying to defeat Common Core. This is trying to put a war chest together, get the ammunition together, so that when that battle comes, we will have ordnance to dispatch. And we're not going to wait for it to happen and then react to it. We're going to begin preparing now to wage a war in some 4 years from now. And so it's a long-term game. I don't have a formula for a Hail Mary. I have had some conversations of people that do, but yes, that can happen, but I don't think that's the kind of thing I want to stack a bunch of chips on. Yes, they can try it, but let's put our chips on getting a first down. Let's get a good solid run up the middle. Let's get some people together. And if we get enough people together and telling the same story, propagating that story on Twitter and on YouTube and so forth, penetrating churches, they're going to try to do presentations in churches. So I want to put some video assets together that can be played while the people are filing in, and put some big booming sound up there and big screen, project, movement, motion, technology, pizzazz, good stuff. And so I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that you are too. Thank you all for your persistence, your patience, and long suffering. Boy, we have been beat up, and but this core group has stood firm, and I'm darn proud of you, and I'm darn proud to be associated with you. And I just wanted to share some good news coming up, and right after this, you will see that video, including Troy Towns. Get to know him, because you know what? You're going to be seeing him and hearing from him in the future.